And something that you do, which certainly is not common practice, is that you donate every single cent that comes from every single book that you've created over the years goes towards a charity to help the homeless.
Yeah, not to a charity. So what I do is I decided, again, I don't know where this came from because it doesn't make any sense. But when I was backpacking, I had no money, and I wrote my first book. As I said, I was traveling to Australia, and it says, every cent I get from this book will, thanks. That's my third one. Every cent from my books would go to help on the homeless people, and it was almost like, I'm basically homeless myself, but I have everything I need. I have good gloves, I have good shoes, I have a good hoodie, I have a brilliant jacket, a good backpack, and these people have nothing. And basically, I don't give them money, and I don't give it to charity, because I used to be an accountant and an auditor. And if you knew how much those charities give to the actual cause that they're supporting,
sickening,
you would be mad. So I don't give them the money. What I do is I go to, like in the UK or Ireland, you have a store called Primark.
Yeah.
I go there, and sometimes there's t-shirts which are £1, £2 each.
Yeah.
I mean, I could buy 20 of them. That's 20 people I'm helping, but the thing is, I go around and distribute them myself.
Love that. Wow.
So instead of just giving them money and going, here you go, get, have a few beers, I actually sit down and go, here, when I go out, I usually have socks, gloves, shoes, whatever I can get, as much stuff as I can get to the maximum money that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be €8 trainers out of, Primark. And people always think about the big thing about like the sleeping bags and things like that. But imagine being on the street for weeks on end with wet feet, wet, dirty underwear. So what I do is I just buy briefs and socks and stuff like that, which they can have. And the thing about the homeless is they never take more than they need. Like if they have gloves, they won't take gloves off you. If they have decent socks, they won't take socks off you. So they don't want to carry things. And just by giving it to them, having a couple of pot noodles, like energy bar, stuff like that with me, bottles of water, and saying, right, what do you need? Give it out to them, and just treat them as humans, like see the human in them. And the other thing too, I learned as an accountant that in the Western world, most of us are three paychecks away from the street. So never be so cocky that you think that could be, you're a job loss or a life. So I'll give you a story, and this story is in the book you've just held up. I was taking my wife. I was back in Europe because I used to travel with the sun. So I'd be in Europe for sort of, Northern Hemisphere summer and things like that. And my wife, my girlfriend at that time, was studying to be an accountant. So I was back with her, and she was going up to her classroom on a Sunday morning. And it was that first cold sort of Sunday biting morning, in Dublin. And I went up around anyway and dropped her off, and I was taking sort of photographs on my my mobile phone. And I came across this lad who was writing on the curb with chalk, poems and different things, as they sort of do in Ireland. And I stopped and says, here, mate, what's the crack? Tell me, like, you all right? Blah, blah. And I eventually said, so what happened that you ended up homeless? He said that he was living in Paris, had a beautiful French girlfriend, a beautiful baby. He was a manager of a chain of Irish bars. It was the dream, absolute dream life. And he woke up one morning as what his girlfriend says, go up and bring down the baby. And he went up to get the baby, and the baby was stone. He did this. The baby was stone cold. And he goes, of course, he's managing his chain of Irish bars, so he starts drinking more when he's at work and things like that. So eventually, his girlfriend, who's obviously struggling, has an issue, and she calls his parents and says, like, I'm struggling and he's on the drink.
Yeah,
can you come and collect him? They come and got him, took him back to Galway, and they put him into a hospital. Says, can you help him? This is the sad circumstances of why he's here, and blah blah blah. And they started giving him these tablets, and he actually he was a tablet to warp in my head. So I checked out, went home. My parents says, no, they had a row, so he went to Dublin to get a job. Couldn't get a job, so here I am. I'm on the streets, and I says, man, I'm empathetic for you. There's a difference between empathy and sympathy. Empathy is when you put yourself in someone's shoes and see the world from their perspective. And sympathy is whenever you put yourself in someone's shoes, see the world from their perspective and think they're right. So I'm always aiming to have empathy. So anyway, I leave the man and I'm walking up the street and there's a sign saying tea, coffee, €1. And I was freezing and I was like, I want a cup of tea. So your man really must want a cup of tea. So I go and buy 2 tea and I see that the Euro Millions is, I think, 60 million or 40 million. Like, it's in the book, I can't remember now. And it's, so I thought, you know what, give me 2 Euro Million lucky dips as well. So I take the teas back to your man. He was only 100 meters away. And I go, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And then I pull out the 2 Euro Millions tickets and I say, here you go, choose one. And he takes the one out of my left hand and he goes, oh, it's got my birthday on it. So he puts it in his inside jacket of his coat or pocket of his jacket. And I'm like, all right, then here, mate, see you later. And I'm off. This was Sunday morning. The Euro Millions is on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah.
So Tuesday night, it was won in Dublin. The jackpot was won in Dublin. And I checked my ticket, of course, and it didn't win. So the next Sunday morning, I'm taking my wife up to the classroom again, and I walked past where he was, and he wasn't there. And then I was actually I did worse than that. It was actually, I think, Thursday night when the shops were open late. I actually was up to town, and I thought I'll take a wander by to see if he's there, and he wasn't. And then on the Sunday again, actually, I had another wander by just to see if he was there. And I was thinking to myself, chances of him winning that are minimal, but it might have been just the fact that someone was able to give him a ticket or buy him it might have been a million things. He could have been beat to death during the week. Yeah. Unfortunately, he could have froze to death. Anything could have happened to the man. But the story of him going top of the world and tumbling right down to being homeless humbled me so much. These are the people that could be any of us that could have that bad news, that phone call could send us off the rails. And so God bless him. I hope he's back on the grind and he's over in Paris and he's been able to get his life back together again with, whatever way. And God bless him.
My name is Samuel Main, and I truly hope that you've got value from today's video. If you have, please do hit like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow.